And welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Today's tutorial is all about the Rise and Shine Afghan or throw. That's right, the pattern is available in both sizes, but you know what? It's a Rise and Shine. It's more of a spring and summer look, but what I've done is I've changed the colors to make it more Christmas oriented. So what we have today is that we've already run video number 1. You will find that within our index, but then you also now find, which we're going to work on right now, is the half triangle. This Afghan is working in a section where it comes together like a diagonal, just like you see there. So this actually here is the flat edge where your border is going to go around. Now if you're not comfortable with doing any kind of triangles when it comes to granny squares, no sweat, just don't worry about it, just don't do it, and just do all of the squares and attach them like you would with a normal granny square. So let's get started on today's tutorial. I'll go over some notes first and then we'll get started. So let's review a little bit about this pattern. You will notice that there is no holes like you would see in a traditional granny square. This is what's appealing to me. It's a solid granny just like you see. So what we have here is that you can see that it has kind of a lazy wave into it, and it looks absolutely amazing. So when it comes to today's tutorial, we have to maintain that, but we have to maintain it within a triangle itself, and this is actually really easy. Now if you really think about it, what's happening is that this is like Candid Camera. You remember when they used to do the camera jokes and somebody would be on a typewriter and you would go bing, and then they go to push it over and it falls off the table. Sorry, I'm making myself laugh over that. This is exactly the way this one particular works. So we start off and then we go like a typewriter and start back at the front and go down, back at the front and go down, and etc. So that's how we do this one, and that's an easy way to remember it when that way. So I just thought of that off the top of my head just like that. So today it's very easy. We just want to maintain the same coloring that you will want to do. So this color may not be suitable. Maybe you want to do something like pastel, maybe a baby Afghan. And if you're not comfortable with doing the triangles, you can always opt just to do the regular squares, and there's another video for just specifically that. So let's pull out our burgundy. We got a size 6 millimeter crochet hook today, which is a size J, and we're using Red Heart Super Saver for all of this particular Afghan today. To start off with, we just create a slip knot just like so. So there are slower tutorials available. If you're new to crochet, you can always find other tutorials to help you to get started. So we're just going to do chain 3 at this point, and then we're going to join it to form a ring. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we come back to the very center, or the very start one, and kind of like form a horseshoe like you can see underneath, just like that, and we just grab the yarn and pull it through, and voila, you have a circle. So in the other one that we have, when we're cross comparing, the circle actually had chaining of 4, it's bigger, but because you're working with a triangle, if you have such a big thing like that, you're going to end up really seeing a big gap on the corner of your, or on the edge of your Afghan, so you don't really want that. So let's move along to step number 1. So this is row number 1. To start off with, it says with C. Remember that C there means the color, so we just have to be conscientious of that. So it says to chain 3, so let's do that. So 1, 2, and 3, and it's asking for 8 double crochets into the center of the ring. So just going right into the center of the ring, and trap that straggler down into position. It's straggler, I call it, is really the loose end. I just call it a straggler. Always have, always will. And we just want to do a total of 8. So with the chaining of 3 in the very beginning, you end up with 9 posts going around the center of the circle. So essentially what's happening here is that we're actually working a semicircle, so it's not a full circle, and that's why we're not extending all the way around like we were on the last particular square that we were working on for this particular one. So I haven't been counting, so let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I counted the chaining of 3 as one of them, so we have to have a total of 9 as it states. And now we just want to fasten off. So let me show you how to fasten off. I'll only show you how to do it once in order to save time on this video. So we're going to just snippy snip, get your scissors out, snippy snip, and what I just do is just pull up. I pull it snug, and then I just weave it in amongst the stitches. And what's going to happen is that next time I'm going over top of these things, that is going to get trapped under the next row, so basically you will never have a problem with it falling out. So just weave it in, give it a good generous amount. I tried to do at least 2 inches. Because this piece is so small, I'm going at least halfway back in order to do that. So that's how you weave. So I will not be showing how to weave off for the rest of this tutorial, but that's what you will want to do for the remainder of what we're going to run into. So I'm going to just snip these loose ends off at this point. I can do that safely, and you will want to do that too as you go along. So let's move along to round number 2. So essentially what we're doing here, it's a semicircle. So if you actually put this down on top of it, we want to maintain the same things that you would see. So we would actually be working on a diagonal. So like you see it having extra stitches on a corner section like this, dips down more in the middle, so and then more on this side. So we're just actually making sure that this triangle is going to look the same way when we go to do that. So if I actually get the triangle shape for you, that's exactly what's happening within this particular project. So we're going to start off with, and remember how I said that we have to go like a typewriter, bup, 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 bup. We go all the way back. So this is where I finished off on this side. I weaved in my ends and now I'm coming back to where I started. And this is like the chain 3 that you started. So it says slip stitch in the beginning, chain 3. That's exactly where you're going to go. So you're just going to go right on the top and going to grab your yarn and just loop it on like so. And it says to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and it says another double crochet to where you started. So that's just going to the same stitch. Now it says to half double crochet into the next, single crochet into the next, half double crochet, and then 3 double crochet into the next. So here we go. So we're going to half double into the first one. Okay, so we're basically maintaining the pattern. We're going to single crochet. Now we're going to half double. So I've already worked with this pattern once and you're thinking, oh my god, you're gifted to remember all that. I've already done it once, so it's actually very easy. So in this one here, this is the middle of your triangle and this will be 3 double crochet. And so now we just have to maintain what we've already done on this side. So we're going to half double. We are going to single. We are going to half double again, and you will end up with just one last stitch left, and there's where you'll put 2 double crochet in, just like you did in the very beginning. So the chaining of the 3 counted as one of the double crochets, and there you go. So now fasten this off, and we're going to start back up on this side again, and I'm going to pull out my burgundy again. To begin the next round, we come back to where we started, the chain 3, go back into the top of the chain 3, grab your loop, and pull it through. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to double crochet into that same spot going in. Okay, so double crocheting. So I'm just keeping this on top of the line. So the next one we are going to half double crochet. So this is just like the other square. So we're just going to half double crochet. So we're going to start creating that dippy dip that you see. Now we're going to single crochet. Okay, I'm going to move this straggler out of the way, and I'm going to slip stitch. So we're now in the center of the corner sections. So if these are the corner, that's the corner, it's in the center. And now we get bigger again. So we single crochet to start, then half double, and now we're on a corner. So if you look at the 3, how they're in the middle, that one's the next one, and so you're bang on. Well, at least I am. I have no idea about you. So here we go. We're 3 double crochet, and you can see that dippy just started. It's kind of cool. I really love this square. I've never seen anything like it. So what we have now is that we're going to start reducing again. So we're going to do 1 half double. The next one is a single. The next one is a slip stitch. Then we go and get bigger again. So we're going to single. We are going to half double. Okay, and then we're going to finally just do 2 double crochets into the end. I have no idea what that is. Oh, whatever that was, it's gone now. And so we just do 2 double crochets at the very end. And let's weave in our ends again and go back to the start. So here we go again, and we come back to where we started at the top of the chain 3. Pull in that loop, and now we begin. So let's chain up 3 again. So 1, 2, and 3, and double crochet ourselves again into that same stitch. And again, this is just like the bigger square. So the next one that we have here is that it's going to have 2 double crochets. So you already know how to do this if you've done the other tutorial first. And now we half double. So 1 is a half double, So we're going to get smaller. We're going to single next, and I'm going to move the straggler out of the way. I'm going to put it in the back. And now the next one is going to be a slip stitch, and see this slip stitch here? It matches each other, so it really pulls it nicely down together. And now we start getting bigger again as we make our way to the next corner. So the first one is a single crochet. The next one is a half double. Okay, the next one is 2 double crochets. So this is not a corner. This is the one right before the corner. And if we look at it, we have your 3 right in the corner. So the final one is 3 double crochets as you start turning the corner. This is what makes that really nice wavy effect. So let's review again. Very easy. So the first one is going to be 2 double crochet. The next one is going to be a half double for just 1. Okay, the next one is a single. So the next one is the slip stitch. You can see it's really tight down in there. So we slip it again on this level, and now we go and get bigger to the next corner. So single, half double, okay, 2 doubles, and for the final stitch today on this one here on this revolution is that we have 2 double crochets to finish. So the only time you ever have 3, normally in the full square is that every corner had 3 double crochets. In this one here, it's only exists right here on the edge. It's something completely different. Just for tutorial reasons, I'm showing you that an error has happened, and what's happening here is that I did not leave enough straggler to get trapped underneath this burgundy. So this is a great lesson that all of this white here got pulled out. So I'm going to have to refasten this back in order to make this properly. So that's just a lesson to be learned, that this straggler needed to be much longer in order for it not to pull out like that. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you. To start off our next round, I'm just grabbing my burgundy back up, and I'm coming back to the very start again and top of the chain 3. So we're just going to pull it through. And now this one is the thin layer. If you were following the first one, is that we always have that thin layer that comes around before it transfers over to green, and that's what we're working on now. So it says here to chain 1, and it says two single crochets into the same. Okay, so this is how we're doing it. And so it says for the next 2 stitches, it's going to be 2 single crochet each. So 1 and 2. And now it says 2 7 stitches. It's single crochet, just 1 in each, and for the next 7. Okay, so let's do that. So we got 1. I'm just going to let that straggler fall out of the way. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now that we have our 7 in, the next 2 stitches are going to be 2 single crochets each. 1 and 2. So that's 1 and 2, 1 and 2 again. And if you've done your math right, which I have actually, is that in the corner here, the middle one is going to have 3 single crochets, and that's exactly like it was in the big blocks as well. So let's repeat what we're doing. So for the next 2 stitches outside of the corner, it is 2 single crochets each. And so for the next 7, it's going to be 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, and 7. So for the next 2, we have 2 singles each. So 1 and 2. And the next one is 1 and 2. And for the final, you don't see that there's a final, but it's right there. And that is 2 singles there. So it's a fasten off, and we'll go back and we're going to start implementing the green next. So to begin the next round, we're just going to pull out my green. It could be a different color for you. And again, going back to where we started on this side. So let's just find our loop, slam in our hook, and loop it around, pull it through like that. And let's take our straggler so we can see it, so we can bury it. And so now we have to chain 3 again. So 1, 2, and 3. And so we put in another double crochet right into that same stitch, just like you see. So what we have here is that we need to go into the very next stitch, and we have a half double crochet into that one. And now we come down. Oh, that was a double crochet, everybody. We're going to just back that out, and we're just going to do a half double crochet. Okay, so it needs to get smaller. And then the next 3 stitches that we have, we are going to do single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. And so this is like before on the other square. We want 2 half doubles in a row. So we're getting bigger. And for the next 5, we are going to do double crochet. So we're right in that dippy right in the middle. So 1. This is 2, 3. This is 4. And this is 5. Okay. Now 2 half doubles in a row. So that's 1 and 2, and we go back and do 3 singles. So 1, 2, and 3. We do a half double. And if you did it right, which I did, is that you'll end up in the corner, and the middle one in the corner will be your 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. So let's review again. So the first one is going to be a half double. Okay, the next 3 are going to be singles each. 1, 2, and 3. The next 2 are half doubles each. So 1 and 2. Those are half doubles. The next 5 are doubles. So 1, 2. This is 3. This is 4. And 5. And so now 2 half doubles. So we're going to get smaller again. 1. And when I say by smaller, it means just height-wise. And what we have now is that we have 3 singles left. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. And then we have a half double going in. And then the final stitch on the edge is going to be 2 double crochets, just like we started with. There you go. So we don't want to fasten this off at this point. We simply, just like on the other one, we want to simply turn their work. So just hold here, and I'll be right back. To begin, we just have to turn. So we're going to turn it. So we're working on the back side, the wrong side it would say. And so we just want to chain 1, and we want to come into that same stitch for 2 single crochets. So if you remember, if you worked on the other tutorial with me, is that you have to go 19 across before putting in 3 single crochets on the corner. But why count it? Just look for it. So we're going to go 1. So I'm not even going to count it. I'm just going to sit here and look pretty as I crochet. But you don't need to count it. You just have to look for the corners. And so this is one of those projects where, yeah, you could sit here and count all the time, but you don't really need to if you know exactly what you're looking for. So that's kind of my inside tip, and it's a way of speeding you up without realizing that you're going to run out of fingers and toes. So let's keep going. Let's make my way to the corner. There's a total of 19. Well, at least there should be. So what you want to do is that you're going to look for the corner. So you got your 3 doubles in here. So it's the middle one that is going to get the 3 double crochets. So why count it? Just look for that middle one. So that's got 1 more to go. And now I'm on the middle. So that one's going to be your 3 single crochets right in the middle. So simply you just have to do that. And that's like the big squares itself. Just go all the way across. So I'm just making my way across. And this is the final row for this particular triangle. And again, you just have to whip stitch these afterwards. I will put how to whip stitch after this particular video. I'll put it with this video in just a few moments. as we get ourselves to the edge, and then you can see how I do it and however you see fit. This is one of those projects you do your squares and triangles before you put it together, so it's not an attach as you go kind of particular project. So on the very final stitch on this, we're going to put 2 single crochets in, and then we call it quits. We'll just fasten off and then just move along. Now if this were me, what I would do is that I would do all of the squares and the triangles in sections, so that you don't have to keep remembering everything that you need to do in order to make these really bold and wonderful. So there you go. So let's give you how to slip stitch these together, or how to whip stitch I should say, and let's do that next. So it's now time to start putting your triangles together, and just like you see on the outside, these are only existing on the outside, so all of these squares attached to it like so, and this would be the flat edge, so the next triangle would be filling in this section right here. To whip stitch, all I just do is that I create the same color yarn so that you'll never see it. I create a slip knot on the other side of the needle just like so, and now I simply just want to match up. So when I'm doing this, I actually match up an entire row together so that I'm just working my way. I come right into the corner slot for the single crochet, and I do it on both sides. I make sure that the right sides are facing upward, so you want to make sure that your squares are not turned all over the place, and then I just feed this through the slip knot, and that's extra security. So you just have to move down the line, so just go to the next stitch in the front, next stitch to the one in behind, leave the straggler down on top so that it gets stuck in a position underneath of the stitches, and as soon as you get enough in there, you can literally just fold this right in half, and you will score your stitches on both sides really quite easily. So it's not a bad process, it's actually quite easy, to be honest with you. So just work your way all the way across and start attaching your squares that way. Well, thank you for joining me today, and all you just need to do is continue to slip stitch, and then remember that these triangles are for the outside edge only, so you end up with a gorgeous edge just like you see, and then it will be all squares on the inside. So until next time, on behalf of redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd, thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, have a fabulous day.